Avis and I are out for a little hike today, local hike here in St. George called Padre Canyon.
Torture Canyon.
Torture Canyon. Yeah, Avis is not super fond of this hike. It starts right here. This is the Tuacahn Amphitheater.
Center for the Arts.
Center for the Arts, something like that. Yeah, and starts right from the parking lot here, and we're just outside of Snow Canyon State Park, which is kind of on the other side of whatever this rock formation is over here. What are we calling that?
Rock formation sounds good to me.
Rock formation? I don't really want to call it a mountain. It's not appropriate.
No, it's not a mountain.
On the other side of those rocks. Distance today, not a crazy long hike. I don't know exactly because we're headed out to hopefully something called Three Ponds, but this is not technically the Three Ponds Trail. So we're going to take Padre Canyon up for most of the way, and then we're going to jump onto something called the Red Sands Trail and hopefully take that over to this Three Ponds area, which I've never been to. So I don't really know how far that is. Back of the napkin, it's like 5.5 or 6 miles, but I guess we'll find out when we get there and how far we've gone when it's time to turn around. This will be an out and back. So let's get to it.
This is kind of a cool little area. Got a little arch down at the bottom, and then up at the top you've got like a little bit of a hanging garden action. It's pretty up there.
Yeah, this whole part of southern Utah is just gorgeous. You'll not have a lack of interesting things to look at or see. And right now is actually the perfect time of year to be doing this. It's, for us, as we're filming this, it's about mid-March. You won't see this for probably at least a month, maybe a little more, depending. We've got another series in front of this one that'll be out, but just understand, it's mid-March right now. By the time we get into mid-April, May, June, it's really starting to heat up around here. And I don't know that I would do this hike that time of year. Maybe if you got a really early start in the morning, but I would definitely not do it in the afternoon like we're doing it now. But right now, this time of year, these temperatures, I think it's a high of about 60 degrees today, and it was in the mid-50s when we started here from the parking lot. So all things considered, great time of year to be out here. The reason Avis referred to this as a brutal hike.
Torture to be exact.
Torture. Okay, she's correcting me. Don't correct me, woman. Torture in her words. Is because about the last third of a mile or so, before you reach the highest point on this hike, you gain about 600 feet of elevation, maybe even 7. So, I'm sure you can imagine, that's super steep. And man, even at the cooler temperatures we have today, I'm already drenched.
Especially for the vertically challenged.
Yeah. You guys didn't believe I was just leaving all these cameras up and down the trail, did you? All right, we just crested the high point. We're about 1.25 miles, 1.3, something like that, into this hike. But that is, thankfully, the most brutal part of it. We're now descending down the other side of what we just climbed up. However, we won't descend as far, and it's not as brutally steep or rocky when we come back up this side. So I think the hardest bit of it's over with, but now we're looking at some really stellar views ahead of us here. Let me show you. Look behind me, over my shoulder back here. Is that not gorgeous or what? Don't bet on this or anything. because we're no experts. But Avis says she believes the cactus with the little fuzzy thing you see on top of it there is a sign that spring is coming. And I guess that is a bloom starting to turn into a flower. So Avis says. No? True?
He said it's monster hair that will be a flower.
It's monster hair that will be a flower.
Yeah.
Is that a technical term, monster hair?
Yeah, we're gonna make it one.
We're going to make it one. All right, new scientific term if it doesn't already exist.
Cactus monster hair.
Cactus monster hair.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you saw on top of the cactus. We've had a fair amount of rain here in the St. George area the last couple weeks, and this wash having water in it is a good indication of that. These little ponds you see here, there's generally year-round some form of water in here, but as wet as all the ground was back there, that's definitely not a thing that's going on in the summer. I think it's the first time we've been through here and I've seen it this wet. But again, makes sense. We've had a good bit of rain the last couple weeks. This trail is pretty well marked, but we still tend to use all trails just to make sure that we're where we're supposed to be. Sometimes we seem to have a knack of being able to get off track even when it's very well marked. Not really sure how we manage to do that, but sometimes we do. So we both run all trails on our phones, and it's a great tool for this sort of stuff. It's super inexpensive per year, like 30-40 bucks maybe. I don't know, maybe it's 100, I'm not really sure, but well worth it. You can download the offline maps. It has tons of great hikes in it almost everywhere we go. I had said back there at the top of the highest point that the most brutal part of this hike was over. And while that is technically true, especially with the elevation gain, what we're getting down into now is a bunch of sand. And, you know, it's pretty flat, but man, if you've ever been out hiking in the sand, you know just how brutal it can be and energy sucking it really is as your foot slips, you know, with every other step. Kind of nice wide sandy wash we've been in is starting to narrow a bit as we get back in here a little further. Some really cool formations on these rocks up here. Yeah, this is getting a little more interesting again. appears we have reached the end of the trail. It's I guess these are the 3 pools. They must be.
It must be.
They're at the end of the 3 pools trail. So I don't know. I think I mentioned this towards the beginning. I don't know how long it really takes to get here because we did kind of a mashup of 2 trails. We didn't take what was probably the most direct route to get out here from inside Snow Canyon State Park. Avis, what do you have for distance?
I have 2.83 to be exact.
Okay, Avis has 2.83. So I'm not a good judge because I've been running back and forth with the cameras we've been filming. So 2.83. So we're going to be under 6, over 5.5, something like that. And yeah, not a bad little, short day hike. Sure is beautiful in here, isn't it? Look at this. It's just crazy. Nobody around. And this is on a Sunday, which I would have expected to see a lot more people.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
The sign is cracking me up, though.
The sign? Mm-hmm. The end of trail?
End of trail. I'm going to take
That's
a
it.
picture of that.
Thankfully, it doesn't say end of life. You're trapped. All right. Well, now we just got to double back and retrace our steps. So any of our geology friends out there, Avis saw this and was wondering if this was flowstone. She's heard of something called flowstone. I've never actually heard of flowstone, so I don't know what she's talking about, but she says this kind of looks like flowstone, but we don't know. It could also just be mud.
I think it could be really hard mud, actually.
Really hard mud. Okay, maybe it's just really hard mud. Is that what flowstone is? Is flowstone really hard mud? I don't know what the white stripes are in the rock around here, but it definitely adds some, I don't know, more than normal interest to the red rocks. Having a little bit of color variety in there. I don't know about you guys, but again, I'm not a geologist, but I believe in a global flood, just like the Bible talks about. And I often imagine when I see this sort of stuff, kind of how all those layers can be laid down very quickly when you were dealing with, huge amounts of water like that. So that's my non scientific, non actually studying this stuff view of what I'm looking at, for better or worse. The slog of the deep sand is now behind us. Back on some rocks, rocky trails, and the next challenge is going to be the elevation gain back up to the high point. And as I said, it's not as bad, and it doesn't quite gain as fast and as steep as it does on the other side. So in theory, it won't be quite as brutal as it was coming up the other side. Of course, we do have more miles in our legs at this point. you come out to do this trail, you can do all sorts of little side quests out here. We got this little canyon back in here that we skipped right by on our way out. Avis and I have gone back in there before. And there's actually all along up over here, there's like a completely other trail that you can do. But that's not the one we're going to take today. We're going to just go back out the way that we came. But plenty to do back in here. You could spend several hours even just playing in this little area right here and not get bored with what you're doing. That's for darn sure. And bonus, get a little bit of exercise in while you're at it. All right, we can see the top right out there. There it is. So we just got to get from here to there, and then it's all downhill. I was just reading something the other day about the benefits of exercise, and specifically walking, getting out and doing this sort of lower impact, I like to say, maybe not like extreme aerobic, although at times I feel like this hike is that. But they were talking about not only the mental benefit or the physical benefits of getting out and walking, just walking, and but man, the mental benefits are like perhaps even more than the physical benefits are for people, and just helps keep a happy mind. And I can absolutely believe it. One of the things we've appreciated a lot since moving out here to southern Utah from Virginia, where we used to live, is just the number of days of sunshine we get. And it's good for the soul. I'm a believer. I just feel so much more mentally awake. And I don't know, I mean, I've always been a happy person, but so I hesitate to say it's made me happier, but in some ways I feel like it has. How about you, Avis?
For sure.
Yeah, for sure?
Yeah.
Feel the same? You think the
benefits of walking, plus just the benefits of getting into the natural sun. It's good for you.
Yeah. I don't, again, I know I'm gonna make all the dermatologists mad out there. Every time I go, they're like, stay out of the sun, wear sunscreen. I don't know, maybe I'll end up dying of skin cancer, but I don't know, I'm just not into that. I like feeling the sun. I feel like it's good for my health. I don't know, maybe it's not physically good for your body, but it sure is good for the mind. I strongly believe that. Avis and I call that rock the vampire rock. I don't know. It just looks like some kind of standing coffin.
Exactly. Where the vampires sleep during the day.
So, yeah. You can imagine if you were a vampire, maybe that'd be a good place to be. Although I imagine if you need complete absence of sunlight, Not a very good coffin.
Not a very good place.
Maybe you're a hybrid vampire. Maybe you can have some sunlight, but you mostly need shade. That might be the rock for you. We have made it up and over the high point again, and we are working our way down the steep descent back down towards the parking lot from which we came. Avis had a birthday about last month sometime, and she had been wanting a better sports watch than the Apple Watch she was rocking. Her Apple Watch, I mean, we'd go out and do longer hike than this for sure, but you know, a hike that would take us 6, 7, 8 hours, and her watch battery was dying on her, so she wanted a nicer watch. So I went out and found some deal, and I found such a good deal. I bought both of us Garmin Fenix 8 Solars, and I like it a lot. The battery life is freaking insane. I'm getting like 20 days between charges, and that's using it almost every day for exercise. Now, that's not always using the GPS, because that will use more battery. But, you know, when I'm inside strength training or riding the bike trainer, you know, doing things indoors that don't require GPS, almost every day, you know, of use, getting 20 plus days out of it, this is great. I love it. Hardly have to charge the thing. It will be a little worse for this. You know, I don't know what it's using today. Was it about 5% per day? So, you know, I'll definitely use more today because of this GPS enabled hike. But I'm sure it's still going to be not needing to be charged for many, many days. So I like it. I'd recommend it based on my experience with it so far. And it even makes for a great strength training watch. It's got all sorts of workouts pre-programmed into it that you can do, and count your reps and all sorts of cool stuff. So it's not a Garmin ad. They don't sponsor us. What's that?
I said, don't forget about the flashlight.
Oh yeah, right. It has the flashlight too. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, the flashlight. I use that every freaking day, especially when I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to pee. It's great for that. All right, let's finish working our way down this steep descent here. Anybody who's been watching this channel for any length of time, at least a couple of years, probably knows that I have been talking about needing to lose weight for like 2 years or more. Apparently that makes Avis laugh a lot. And but I would be proud to report. I'm getting delirious up here, Avis.
Yeah.
Can't talk. I would be proud to report that I have, in the last 2 months, what am I down, 8 pounds?
Yep, about a pound a week.
Yeah, so I definitely think I have things moving in the right direction. Hopefully got a grip on my diet, which Avis is helping me with. She's been, for those who don't know, she has a former background in personal training, so she has all the skills, and she's got both of us locked down pretty good right now. I'm trying to focus on getting a little leaner. I don't really care what I weigh, but I definitely want to get leaner. But my whole point in saying all that is, it's amazing. I mean, even just the hikes we were doing a couple months ago, and I know how strenuous this hike is with the amount of elevation gain it has in such a short distance. And man, I already feel a huge difference, even being, you know, that much leaner, that much lighter. So I'm looking forward to when maybe I can drop, you know, another 7-8 pounds, get closer to 20 pounds drop total. And man, I bet this sort of stuff's gonna get a whole lot more pleasant than it has been. I've been filming this whole hike on a new action cam. I got a Insta360 Ace Pro 2, and I'm gonna be moving away from the GoPro platform. Everybody keeps telling me the image quality on the Ace Pro and the Pro 2 is so much better than GoPro, and they're not as buggy. So you guys have to let me know what you think. Do you think the video quality, at least the image quality, I'm not saying the content quality or the quality of the editing, that's probably the same trash we always put out, but is the image quality any better? Does this seem better? I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing the footage after this to find out for myself, but I'm hoping it looks a lot better. I was well invested in GoPro, and to move over to another platform was a little bit painful financially. What do you guys think about this rock? We were just noticing it. I don't think I've noticed it when we've been out here before, but maybe Avis has. It looks like a giant dinosaur head, doesn't it? Maybe like a big T-Rex or something.
You got the mouth, the little eye hole, the little head armor.
Yeah. I can definitely see it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it. All right, well, we will deem this spot going forward Dinosaur Head Corner.
Dinosaur Head Corner.
Dinosaur Head, and that's on the way to Vampire Rock. We have made it back to pavement. We're off the dirt. I had a distance of 6.4 miles. Avis had about 5.7. So there you go. That's about what that was. I'm not going to share with you how long that took us because it wouldn't be an accurate representation, because I'm filming and I'm doing all kinds of stuff, and I mean, I added at least 45 minutes, if not an hour, to this whole hike. So I'm not gonna tell you how long it took, but I will tell you how far it was. So I guess that's it. We're gonna wrap this thing up. Thank you guys for following along. Hope you had fun on this little adventure. We'll see you on the next one.